Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start off by giving all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Arakal Kadash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone of Well. Peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful elect, the Bayath, Dawadah, the house of David. Right? So we're just going to go right into it. Alright? So this is Job 9 and 24. It says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? And we know who he is. It's Esau Edom, the so-called white man, right? Starting with the super elites, right? The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Ivanheimers, the DuPonts, the Gettys, really going back to Amalek, the Tiny Tops, right? You see? Okay? Psalms, the 83rd chapter, right? So now let's go over to here. Let's go to here. It says, I put in here, it says Gideon surveillance under AWS Project Nimbus pre-crime, right? So let's get this here. It says Gideon surveillance is not widely known or documented, officially named for a specific surveillance system. However, the term likely refers to the controversial use of advanced artificial intelligence, AI. It says in cloud computing technologies. It says provided by Amazon, AWS, and Google to the Israeli government and military through Project Nimbus contract, which has been linked to mass surveillance and data-driven targeting, right? It says concerns surrounding Project Nimbus often involves the potential for pre-crime applications stemming from its AI and machine learning capabilities, which can be used for object tracking, facial recognition, and sentiment analysis. You see? And this is what I was talking about a while back, man. Alright? Gideon, pre-crime. See? Right? So it says Project Nimbus overview. It says contract details signed in 2021. The $1.2 billion contract provides the Israeli public sector, including the military and security services, with advanced cloud infrastructure. It says surveillance capabilities report from organizations like the Electronic Frontier Foundation, right? And plus 972 magazines indicate that the technology supports pervasive surveillance in occupied Palestine territories. One source now, that's not just that, right? It's all over. It's everything. It's all over the internet. Everything. It scrapes the internet 24/7, right? Gideon. That's what it does. Okay? All right? Anything you put up, even on YouTube. Right? That's the new AI algorithm. You see? Right? So it says one source described using the AWS system to order from Amazon for intelligence information to use in operations, suggesting a direct military application. Right? It says pre-crime concerns. It says the pre-crime aspect relates to the potential for data-driven targeting programs. Investigative reports have highlighted the use of AI tools like Lavender by the Israeli army, which allegedly identifies targets based on data analysis and has resulted in significant surveillance casualties. It says while a direct link between Lavender and Nimbus infrastructure is not explicitly confirmed, the shared use of AWS for intelligence data points to the cloud providers' involvement in such data-driven software. See? It says lack of transparency, right? It says both Google and Amazon have faced intense criticism for lack of transparency regarding the specific use of Project Nimbus technology, whether they perform human rights due diligence, right? It says the contract includes adjusted terms of services that, because Amazon and everything, this is all controlled. Everything is all controlled. YouTube is all a part of what you call the Google and everything, okay? is when you put in, you type in something on Google, you look up YouTube, it's all there. You do this, you look up anything on YouTube, it's all a database system, right? So all these things are all being taken. So anything you go and look up is being there, right? So this is how they track and trace and surveillance. This is how they know what you're saying. This is how Chat GPT comes into line and understanding what you know, right? You see? So any video that's ever been taken down off of YouTube is kept in what you call an archive or a database system, right? So this is when you go and type in information, this is why it knows, because why? It's taking our information from those videos and scraping it and bringing back up in what you call Chat GPT, ran by Israeli government, right? All track and trace and surveillance. Okay? All right? It says, where we at? It says, even a violation of standard use policies, which typically ban applications that violate human rights or cause harm, is found. It says, worker protests. It says the contract has led to a significant initial dissent and protests from employees of both Google and Amazon, organized by groups like the No Tech for Apartheid. It says, who argue that the technology facilitates human rights abuse and apartheid, right? Okay. It says, in essence, while Gideon surveillance is not the official term, it says underlining activities and technologies described in a user's query or central to ongoing controversy in human rights concerning surrounding Amazon and Google's involvement in Project Nimbus. So it definitely has to be involved in there. Obviously, Gideon surveillance definitely has to be involved in there, right? Because I brought a video out back a while on that. Okay? So we know what this does. It goes through and scrapes the internet 24/7, right? It's the new AI, the new algorithm, the new thing, the new wave of it. All right, so let's go here. Right?
Normally, when you use Google Cloud or Amazon Web Services, you are bound by strict rules. No surveillance, no human rights violations, and definitely no secret segments to governments. But apparently those rules come with a little asterisk, unless you are Israel. In 2021, Tel Aviv signed a $1.2 billion.
Let me get this scripture here. Let me get this here. This is Sirach, chapter 12. Right? Chapter 12 and verse number 10. It says, never trust thy enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, that thou shalt be unto him as thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. And as you can see, that's how you know that these people over there, they're not the people of the Most High. They're not the people of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, right? Because the scriptures speak about there'll be no war on earth anymore. So as you know the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, we are the Israelites. We are the Hebrew Israelites. We are the people of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, right? Okay? Because the curse is fit to us. We're not the ones going around the earth stealing, killing, robbing, and raping, and destroying and plummeting, right? You see? And stealing resources, right? These things are happening by who? The devil. All right? Okay? But see, they like to push that narrative off on us, right? Oh, they did the drug dealers and these are the murderers, the rape. But really, you got these people behind the scenes, right? The tiny tops, right? Okay? Who are really the operational setups, the go in, the pillage, destroy, the fugitives, the vagabonds, the rape robbers and murderers. All right, this is their MO, right? Your secret backdoor things, right? This is a part of what you call their sacrifices, right? Left hand witchcraft bowing down to different gods, right? These left-handed witchcraft gods, Baphomet, You see, and so on and so forth, all these other high up gods, right? A part of this Freemasonry world, right? 33 degree and up, right? Because there's even higher up than that. You see? Like Nero 47. He ain't nothing but a York Rite Scottish Mason, right? Freemason, right? So as you can see, he wearing the blue tie, right? He got the blue tie on, then one day he'll have the red tie on. You see? And then before, when he got inaugurated, right, he had the purple tie on, meaning he was going through a ritual. You see? He was just being lifted up, right? And he had to go through, and he had to go down to, down there and get his left hand blessing. All right, from who? The Pope, and he had to go get with everybody else and things of that nature, man. All right. Okay, let's go on. All right, where we at? Verse number 12, right? It says, "Set him not by thee." It says, "Least when he had overthrown thee, and he stand up in thy place, neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou," it says, "and thou at thy last remember my words, and be pricked therewith." It says, "Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with the serpent, or any such as come high wild beasts?" All right, let's jump down to here. Verse 16, it says, "An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit, and he will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first, and though he pretend to help thee, he shall undermine thee. And he shall shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his countenance." Right? So now let's go back into here.
Deal with Google and Amazon to develop a project called Nimbus, which gave the Israeli military and government unprecedented control over powerful cloud and AI systems. And as new leaks reveal, this wasn't just another tech contract. It was a digital partnership written in fine print and soaked in moral gray zones. Documents uncovered by Plus 972 magazine, Local Call, and The Guardian show that Israel demanded and was awarded two extremely unusual clauses. The first, Israel's access to the cloud could never be restricted, even if it violated the company's own terms of service. The second, the tech companies had to secretly notify Tel Aviv whenever a foreign government demanded access to its data, even when they were.
As you can see, she's about to mention something about the winking mechanism. So we're going to read down here. It says, "Project Nimbus is a deal between Israel, Google, and Amazon, granting the Israeli military government access to cloud and AI systems, linked documents, and rival." It says here, "to reveal unusual clauses, including unrestricted access for Israel, even if it violates company terms, and a secret notification system winking mechanism," right? It says, "to alert Israel about foreign government data requests." It says, "This has raised concerns about the potential human rights violations and what is that? The circumvention of legal processes." It says Project Nimbus is a $1.2 billion deal, provides Israel with the cloud and AI capabilities. That the agreement includes two controversial clauses. First, Israel's access to the cloud cannot be restricted, even if it violates Google and Amazon's terms and services. It says, second, the tech companies must secretly notify Israel if foreign government requests access its data, even if legally prohibited from doing so. It says the notification, this is all from the tiny tops, man. All right, it says dub the winking mechanism, right? Dub the winking mechanism. You see that? Right? It says involves coded payments, right, to Israel. It says alerting them to data requests. It says, for example, a payment of 1,000 shekels, right? And see, they call it the shekels, right? Going back into what? The laws, right? Trying to signify that they, anyway. It says would indicate a U.S. request. It says while 3,900 shekels would signify an Italian request. If the requesting country cannot be disclosed, the payment is 100,000 shekels, right? You see? It says critics argue that the Project Nimbus enables Israel's surveillance and targeting infrastructure, potentially facilitating human rights abuse. It says they claim the technology helps identify targets and process drone footage, raising concerns about its use in conflict zones. It says while Google and Amazon maintain that Nimbus serves civilian ministries, it says linked documents in Israel officials statements suggest that military integration. It says legal experts have criticized that the winking mechanism as potentially legal under U.S. law, as it could bypass court gag orders. It says furthermore, the contract's terms prevent Google and Amazon from halting services even if they discover human right violations. Just goes to show you what this thing is all take place with nothing but YouTube, Google. It's all over. It's all anything that's encompassed with the AWS. Right? It's not just about this specifically alone. Project Nimbus is anything that can pass AWS. And then I had put up a video a while back, right? With I think one of them had said where there will be restrictions that come. You see? I gotta bring up the video. I don't remember where I have it somewhere, but it's on there. You know, brothers, go back and you can look it up. But this is what this is getting into, man. A lot of this is what this is getting into as well. So this is further restriction because Google, Amazon, all of these things are all a part of the AWS, right? Okay. It says from halting services, even if they discover human rights violations. It says potentially locking them into supporting actions that violate the ethical standards. It says despite initial protests from employees, both companies denying wrongdoing. Okay, let's go back and play the video.
Legally forbidden to say so. To do that, the tech giants invented what insiders called the winking mechanism. If Google or Amazon were forced by a foreign court to hand over Israeli data, say to US authorities, they'd send Israel a coded payment in Israeli shekels. 1,000 shekels for the US plus one dialing code, 3,900 shekels for Italy plus 39, and so on. If they couldn't even hint which country was...
Let me get this scripture here. Let me get this Micah 2:1. Alright? Micah 2:1, it says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hands. Right, there you go. You see? Because it's in the power of their hands. Right? No? Unrighteous decrees. Right? This is Isaiah 10:1. It says, woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees and write grievousness which they have prescribed. See? There you go. All right? Let's go back to the video.
Was involved, the payment was 100,000 shekels. A secret code, a money transfer, a digital wink, and all of this within 24 hours of the data being handed over. On paper, Nimbus was just a cloud service. In practice, it became the backbone of Israel's surveillance and targeting infrastructure, the same digital ecosystem that human rights organizations and a UN inquiry have accused of enabling genocide in Palestine's Gaza. Israeli military officials have bragged that Nimbus's AI and data processing tools gave them significant operational effectiveness during their 2-year assault. Mass surveillance systems powered by these clouds help Israel identify targets and process drone footage at scale. In other words, the same cloud technology that powers e-commerce recommendations.
Showing you that these people are the border of wickedness, man. Right here, man. Let's go here. Malachi 1:4. Malachi 1:4, it says, whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall be called the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord have indignation forever. And there you go. And that's how we know who this man is. The so-called white man. The tiny tops, man. Amalek, man. Psalms 83. All right? You see? Who at the top? Esau, Edom. All right? Okay? Amalek being the chief grandson of Esau, Edom. Okay? You see? Let's go back here.
And photo backups was also helping the Israeli military decide who lives and who dies in Gaza. While Google and Amazon employees protested internally, warning that their tech was being weaponized, both companies denied wrongdoing, saying Nimbus only served civilian ministries. But leaked memos and testimony from Israeli officials show the military was deeply integrated into the system. Legal experts call the winking mechanism unprecedented and illegal under US law because it effectively bypasses court gag orders. It's a loophole built to keep Israel informed no matter what. At the same time, the clause preventing cutoffs meant that even if Google or Amazon found Israel's use of their tech was facilitating war crimes, they couldn't stop it without breaking the contract and paying heavy penalties. So while other companies like Microsoft pulled services from Tel Aviv after discovering human rights violations, Nimbus locked Google and Amazon in. Israel had preemptively made sure that no pressure built up from company ethics, employee activism, or international law could unplug its digital war machine or interrupt its genocide. Imagine this. A US court orders Amazon to hand over Israeli data related to a war crimes investigation. The order includes a gag rule. Under normal conditions, Amazon stays silent. Under Project Nimbus, Amazon quietly transferred 1,000 shekels to Israel, effectively whispering, "Hey, someone's looking at your files." That's not just a tech workaround. That's government-to-government espionage made legal through clever contracting. Both companies deny any wrongdoing. Amazon says it never circumvents legal confidentiality. Google calls accusations of illegal behavior absurd. And Israel's finance ministry says the reports are baseless. Yet, the leaked documents signed and finalized say otherwise, that Israel demanded and received these powers. It's a contract where company laws regarding control of data ethics were tossed aside to serve one need.
Let me get this here. 2 Corinthians 2:11. It says, least Satan should get an advantage of us, but we are not ignorant of his devices. Right, we're not ignorant of his plans, man. We know what's going down the pipe. We know what's going on. We know he wants to, we know the New World Order is up and up. They want to get these things up and running. Or it's in the making, or things that are going on. Right? We see that in the midst, man. We have the eyesore to see it. You see? Of a technocratical world, right? See? Now that whole 6G thing, right? That's getting into what you call pretty much advanced interface of thought patterns, control frequencies and mind and thought and body. Right? So it gets how can I say, it gets deep, hooked up with that shit, right? Hooked up to a technocratical world. Right? A smart world. Okay? With you being a virtual person inside of you actually being a physical person, but being a virtuality person at the same time. Transhumanism, AI and a robotic hookup. You see? All right. So let's go back in here.
Needy client. So to recap, if I or you violate a tech company's terms of service, we get banned from those platforms. But if Israel does, its $1 billion guarantee protects it for 7 years. And that secret wing system helps it evade accountability. Cloud computing was supposed to make the world more connected, not make war crimes more efficient. But hey, next time you see that little cloud icon on your phone, just remember, somewhere, someone's getting a secret alert, and it's not meant for you.
All right, so let's go here real quick.
Welcome back. This is MEE's Live's Deep Dive, where we dive into a story shaking up the world. And here's a question. has Silicon Valley sold its soul to the military-industrial complex? It increasingly appears the days of ethical tech companies promising a better, safer world are long gone. And Google, who once enshrined the mantra, "Don't be evil," into its manifesto, is at the center of it all. On Tuesday, we heard from Microsoft employees who staged a daring protest at the company's 50-year anniversary celebration. You may have seen the footage. AI engineer Ibtihal Abu Said told us how the tech giant is helping Israel surveil and translate conversations by Palestinians in Gaza before they're targeted with airstrikes. But Microsoft is just the tip of the iceberg. A growing number of tech workers inside the world's most valuable companies are speaking up, risking their careers to highlight what they say is a growing ties between big tech and...
I'm just going to play a little bit of this. I'm not going to play a lot. Get into some scriptures and we're going to, get up out of here.
Israel's high-tech war in Gaza. One of the biggest and most secretive of these is Project Nimbus. We first caught wind of it back in 2022, when Amazon and Google staff began raising the alarm about a $1.2 billion contract between those two companies and the Israeli government. The contract gave Israel's army access to the state-of-the-art cloud services and data centers built specifically to help it monitor the West Bank and Gaza and carry out military strikes efficiently. Last year...
Let me get Revelation 6. Revelation 6, and let's just jump. Let's start right here. It says, "And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another." Right, that's talking about they're going into their wars and things against themselves, Esau against Esau. Right, it says, "And that they should kill one another, and there was given unto them a great sword." Right, and that ultimately that great sword is that ICBM missile. Right, and these direct energy weapons and so on and so forth. Right now, a lot of nations have control of these things. The Esau, Edom has direct energy weapons. These towers, 6G towers, 5G towers, they're nothing but direct energy weapons. All right, with gamma rays and so on and so forth, man. All right, when you really understand, all right? You see, they're gonna package it up as it's something that it's not, but it is, man. Okay, high frequencies of radiation, man. All right. Okay, let's jump down. All right, verse number 8. It says, "And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death." And who's that? Esau, Edom. Right, the man of death. Okay, the harbinger of death. Right, it says, "And hell followed with him." Right, he's always bringing destruction. See, going Operation Takedowns and take over, rob, raping, and pillaging, going in and stealing people's resources out of their lands. Right, you see, Psalms 55. All right, it says, "And power was given unto him over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with the sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth." You see that? And with the beasts of the earth. Right? So let's go back. Play a little bit more, then we're going to get up out of here.
Here in May, Google cloud engineers disrupted a conference in New York held by Barak Regev, Google Israel's managing director. Have a listen.
I'm a Google Cloud software engineer, and I refuse to build technology that powers genocide, apartheid, or surveillance. Project Nimbus puts Palestinian community members in danger. I refuse to build technology that's going to be used for cloud apartheid. No cloud for apartheid. No tech for apartheid. Free Palestine.
Google is complicit in Israeli genocide.
Support terrorism. Get out of here. Get out.
Free Palestine.
And as you can see, I'm just reporting the news, man. This is, all fair use. Just reporting the news.
By the way, those two engineers that you saw in the video, as well as dozens of others who took part in these protests, were all fired. So why does Israel's army actually need state-of-the-art data centers anyway? Well, it's increasingly using AI technology in its targeting of airstrikes in Gaza. Last year, investigations by The Guardian and 972 magazine uncovered Project Lavender, an AI system designed by Israeli intelligence unit 8200. Its job is to scan Gaza and highlight thousands of potential targets at much faster rates than a human being is capable of. This is because Israel was bombing Gaza so frequently that it was running out of targets. Now, to tell us more, we're joined now by MEE investigative reporter Aribullah. Arib, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Alright, so you brothers can go look this up or, check it out more. Just gonna get into some scriptures. Alright, so let's go here to Psalms the 12th chapter and the 4th verse. Right? It says, who have said with our tongue will we prevail. Our lips are it says our own. It says our lips are our own. Who is Lord over us? Right? Who is Lord? And Esau don't believe in Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Right? He don't care about the Heavenly Father. Right? He don't care. You see? He don't give a damn. Alright? He wants to do what he wants to do. Okay? And that's why he speaks proud things against the Most High, walking through the earth. You see? Setting his tongue against the Heavenly Father and his Son, against the Israelites. Right? See? Trying to set up his blessing, though. You see? This man wants to set up a technocratical blessing. Okay? But he thinks he's going to get that back, but he's not. His kingdom is going to be obliterated. Alright? And there's nothing that he can do about it. We just playing it out. Alright? And as it stands, Numbers 20, let's go there. Numbers 24, as it stands, because, as it stands, Numbers 24 will take place, my man. I'm here to remind you, my man. All right, that Numbers, right? 24 will take place. Let's go to the 17th verse. It says, "I shall see him, but not now. I shall behold him, but not nigh. There shall come a star out of Jacob." That's Yahweh. "And a scepter shall rise out of Israel and smite the corners of Moab and destroy the children of Sheph. And Edom shall be a possession, and Seir also shall be a possession for his enemies. And Israel shall do valiantly." It says, "Out of Jacob shall come he that shall have dominion, and shall destroy him that remaineth of the city. And when he looked on Amalek," right? Good old Amalek. "He took up his parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever." Right? So now let's go here real quick. Second Ezra, the 6th chapter, and let's go to this. Salakia, Second Ezra. Let me get up out of here. I'm in Sirach. Let me get Second Ezra. Second Ezra, the 6th chapter. Let's go to the 7th verse. Right? It says, "Then answered I and said, What shall be the parting asunder of times, or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, From Abraham unto Isaac and Jacob and Esau were born of him. Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth." See that? So we in the end of this man's kingdom. Alright? And this man's kingdom is going to be obliterated. Okay? Alright? Let me get Psalms, the 50th chapter. Right? Psalms, the 50th chapter. And let's go to the 19th verse. Right? It says, "Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit, and Esau is the man of deceit. Okay, the man of deceit, the tongue that framed deceit. He is evil, the wicked. All right, the wicked, starting with Amalek, the tiny tops. All right, let me get Psalms, the 52nd chapter. 52nd chapter, my last scripture in the 4th verse. We're going to get up out of here. It says, Psalms 52 and 4. It says, thou lovest all devouring words, O thou deceitful tongue. Salakia. Let's read it again. Psalms 52 and 4. It says, thou lovest all devouring words, O thou deceitful tongue. Alright, so with that, we're going to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Marakah Kodash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone of well, peace and blessings and citation to the hopeful elect, the Bayach Dawadah, Dallas of David. Shalom.